Hey, it's me, MLV. Here is Future Chapter 7, and this one is titled, Welcome, Baby Bakugou. Wait, what the hell are you doing? Bakugou screamed at the senior midwife as she lowered the scissors in between his wife's legs. He clutched his chest and panicked as he heard his wife scream again. One of the other midwives had taken the senior's place at the head of the bed and was encouraging Mrs. Bakugou to push. Call the resus team! The nurse monitoring the baby's heart rate suddenly screamed, and another nurse raced over to a big red button on the wall and slammed her hand into it. Bakugou stumbled back against the wall, his heart rate increasing and breathing rate becoming erratic and unstable. He was well and truly panicking now. He felt like he was having an out-of-body experience. There was so much going on, but he felt like he wasn't even there, like he was watching it through a screen. What's happening? Is the baby okay? Damn, if anything happens to that baby or my wife. Suddenly the senior midwife pulled out a bloodied bundle from between his wife's legs, and Bakugou exploded, thinking she had massacred his newborn. You bitch, you'll die for this, he screamed as he lit explosions in his hands and readied himself for the launch. Suddenly the resus team raced in and attended the baby straight away, and a guard followed quickly after, barring Bakugou and then wrestling him out the door. The last thing Bakugou saw as he was forcefully escorted out the door was an oxygen mask being placed over his lifeless baby's face as another nurse commenced CPR. No! No! Bakugou hollered, restrained by the guard. What's wrong? Tears welled up in his eyes. Was he about to lose his baby? Suddenly he saw movement from the resus trolley and heard a little cry from where he had been forced outside, looking through the door window. He stopped fighting the guard and froze. The team attending the baby seemed to calm down a bit, and the nurse doing CPR stopped and started cleaning the baby. Bakugou quickly looked to his wife on the bed and she was crying. His heart broke. Let me go, he said to the guard, turning to stare him down. I'm not going to hit anyone. Just let me go. My wife needs me. The guard conceded, feeling the strong emotion emanating from Bakugou, and released his grip on him. Bakugou pushed through the door and made a beeline straight for his wife. She saw him and reached out for him straight away, tears streaming down her face. Katsu, she wailed. I'm here, baby, I'm here, Bakugou said lowly as he engulfed her in his arms. She sobbed loudly into his chest as he cradled her. It's okay, he said. Mrs. Bakugou, would you like to hold your baby boy? A voice said from behind Bakugou. He had momentarily forgotten all about his baby. He spun around in surprise. He's okay, he said incredulously. Yes, he's fine, the nurse said, handing a swaddled-up little baby to Bakugou. He was too extremely awkward taking the precious bundle, and so quickly handed the baby to his wife for her to hold. My baby, she wailed with happiness as she broke down again. He's alive. The nurses smiled and congratulated the pair on a job well done, and the senior midwife talked to Mrs. Bakugou briefly about the speed of the labour and why the little boy went into shock. Total labour was 3 hours, extremely short for a first labour. Just then the little boy started fussing and opening his mouth. Both Bakugou and his wife looked at the baby. He's ready to feed, the midwife said excitedly. How do I... Mrs. Bakugou asked, adjusting herself in the bed. Okay, pull the sheet down so that you can get to your breast, the midwife said, helping to arrange Mrs. Bakugou for the first feed. Bakugou watched with fascination as the midwife helped the little boy find the nipple and latch on. Oh, he said softly, his paternal instinct kicking in as he watched his baby feed for the first time. Have you got a name? The midwife asked, breaking the silence for the moment. Yes, we have, Mrs. Bakugou said, looking lovingly at Bakugou and then back to their baby, then to the midwife. Chisuki, Mrs. Bakugou said proudly. Chi for the first part of the Japanese word for intelligence, also for life force, and Suki after my amazing husband, Katsuki, but we're just putting a little bit of a slant on the ski and making it Suki. The midwife smiled. It's beautiful. Welcome to the world, Chisuki Bakugou. The little boy opened his eyes for the first time and he looked directly at the midwife. She gasped when she saw the colour of his eyes, a brilliant crimson red, just like his father. This child's just destined for greatness, she chuckled, throwing Bakugou a wink. Damn right he is, Bakugou replied with a proud smirk. The little boy turned his head, tugging on his mother's nipple, and looked at Bakugou. Is he supposed to be able to focus yet? Bakugou asked as his little boy stared him down. No, not yet, but he certainly looks like he knows exactly who he's looking at, the midwife said, slightly perplexed at how quickly this baby was picking up on things. We will be moving you to a maternity room shortly, Mrs. Bakugou. As soon as the doctor comes and stitches you up. We had to cut you to get Chisuki out. Bakugou grimaced. The doctor soon entered and stitched up Mrs. Bakugou as Chisuki continued to feed happily. He was a good feeder, and after drinking his fill, fell asleep with the nipple still in his mouth. Bakugou was overwhelmed with all the different emotions. He felt this all-encompassing feeling of protection towards his little boy, pride at his wife, and pride at being a father. You did amazing, he said to his wife as he bent his head down and kissed her on the forehead. Thank you, she whispered up to him. I'm so sorry I was really angry. No, it's fine, he said with a dismissive hand wave. You just pushed a whole frickin' baby out of your hoo-ha. Can't blame you for being angry. She laughed. When you put it like that. And there ends chapter 7. We've got Soshi Todoroki, we've got Chisuki Bakugou. Now we just need baby Kirishima. See you tomorrow.